The question is, what are some things we can do to develop unity between churches of our city in order to unify or witness the reputation of Christ in our city?
To develop, I feel like I stand on, when it comes to churches, building relationships with each other, I stand on the shoulders of other people who do it a lot better. And honestly, I feel like you do it better, Dave. How would you answer the question?
I don't know. I'm trying to learn, I suppose, friendship with other pastors. But I suppose I'll just share a story that I've heard from you before about the way in which pastors of different traditions are preaching through the same series together and resource sharing. And I know there's probably a bigger backstory of even the friendship that leads to that kind of collaboration, but I've never heard of that happening anywhere else ever. In fact, I think there's still this genuine or this general mood of suspicion towards how any other tradition might preach that same passage. And I'm so, it's moving to me to think of pastors from different traditions saying, hey, let's talk through what God's saying to you as you interact with this passage, and let's see how we can preach through this series together in a way that's going to bless and enrich both of our churches. But I didn't lay the groundwork for that. That's just from your own community.
There's Ray Bakke used to be a pastor. He's a guy who writes a lot on like urban theology of the city and those sorts of things. He had an interesting practice that I've never done, but I thought it was really interesting. He showed up into a city in Chicago, a part of Chicago, and he just went to all of these pastors who were a part of different churches that speak different language, different ethnic backgrounds, stuff like that. And then he just like went in and apologized to them for never having reached out to them before. And that was a first step in a good relationship. Here's actually another thought with this. I've never said this before, so we'll see how it turns out. We have a lot of college students in our church, and I usually sit with them in this room, and there's this asymmetry of like, they're always trying to date the person who doesn't want to date them, and they're always shunning the person who does want to date them. And I think a lot of times when it comes to building relationships with churches and pastors and stuff, there can be this like, I don't know if it's this way in Canada, but this like, elevating of personality of someone who's got the bigger church or the whatever, or maybe they've written a book and you want to connect with that person. That person, you already know what they're going to say. They wrote it in a book. The real interesting people are the people who are like, nobody's heard of because they're grinding it out and don't care. They might have 2 jobs and they don't have a budget that's all that big, but they have a ton of insights. And so I think that there's, I don't know, the analogy breaks down, but I think that you can be a personality chaser and trying to build those relationships when find someone who's gone through some suffering and endured some stuff, and that's someone to learn from.